Hello everybody, welcome back to Ben Trading Cards, and today let's talk about Flesh and Blood TCG, and also we will get to discuss about the issue that they had regarding the insertion of the so many fabled and legendary rainbow foils. So yeah, apparently they have found out, some of the community members and some LGS have found out that they found so many rainbow foils, legendary and fabled, all right, in a case of the outsiders set of Flesh and Blood. So this is, of course, an issue because it will really lower the value of those fabled and legendary cards if it will be printed with so many cases of this ones. And it was spread all over the Facebook groups, Discord. I'm not sure if there's the Reddit photos of the pool rates, but yeah, it's spread all over the internet. So what I like about Flesh and Blood, which is James White, the CEO, is that they always respond to a certain problem fast, rapid, guys. Just like before the shipping, what happened to the Monarch? I think that was Monarch, yeah. So they're so fast that really they are really a good risk managers for these kinds of risk, okay, or some crisis management. So they said, so after a few days of those photos that was shown on the internet, Flesh and Blood released very fast a statement regarding that, and they contacted Cartamundi, and they analyzed what happened, and they said there is a feeder for commons, okay, and supposedly for commons, but it was a legendary and fabled RF foils was placed instead. Okay, so I talked to some TCG creators. This is how it works. Okay, so when you feed cards on a booster pack, you have feeders. So feeders are just like maybe probably a slot. I haven't seen a specific feeder, but I'm imagining it as a slat of cards that goes down just like a dispenser. So one is commons, and then two is rare, depending on the rarity, something like that. So first it goes to a conveyor and it feeds, right? It feeds, it's, let's say, 5 commons, 1 2 3 4 5, and then it moves to another place, and it feeds rares, 1 2, maybe 2 rares, 1 2, and then goes there and then feeds RF, and it's done, probably it's already programmed. And I'm sure that when they load the cards on a feeder, it should be done by people, right? By manpower. So they put the load on commons, load on rares, and depending on the rarity. What LSS said that a worker, so they haven't said a worker, but I'm sure it's someone, in my mind, someone in Cartamundi put an RF foils of legendary and fabled in a slot of commons. So what happened? A lot of there are legendary fabled on the common slot, all right? So it feeds there. But the good thing here is that it's only done within a 30-minute period, because probably they found out that they have an issue. Because every time, guys, in the industry, so periodically the production supervisors or whatever managers, they ask their operators to check, to get samples from there and give it to the QC, which is the quality control. So the quality control will check whatever dents or whatever damages, so that the machine is still running, and they will check, probably sampling, guys, others maybe 10 of those sets from random places during that run, so that print run. So they will get that in a slot, and then they will check the quality, and then probably they found that there's an issue. And those things are, I'm not sure why it went to shipping, but eventually they said they have solved it. But I'm not sure what happened in this time frame, why it went there and then it was already packed and then shipped. I'm not sure what happened there, but it is supposedly stopped that printing if they have an issue, right? So yeah, so LSS said it's just a matter of less than 30 minutes of that time frame during those loading of or feeding those cards. So less than 30 minutes, and they said it's about 0.4 to 0.8% point error. So that means if they have planned to have, like, let's say 10,000 of RF foils. I'm not sure if what's the number, but it's just a number. So just to make it easier to calculate, so 10,000 and 0.8% of that will be around 80. So that is the damage done with that feeding of those cards. So LSS said they are talking with the manufacturer on what is the countermeasure on, so that that won't happen again. And yeah, so my idea is just put a color if this is for RF, a certain color, so that you will see it, or color and label of those RF common cards, something like that. So if a feeder is like a box, the box would be colored red for RF, and then green for commons, something like that. So they can, engineers knows about that, guys, so they can do things like that easily. Those are just human error which happens every time, and this is what I'm telling to new TCG creators, that especially the new ones, that even if you're a big company with so many employees with have done printing of so many things, it's always have an issue, guys. There's always an issue with this kind of issues, because you have different kinds of variables with that. You have machines, you have materials, you have humans. Those are susceptible to errors. Okay, so you have to accept that. Even when I was working in industry in the engineering section, we have some yields to report in every time our meeting and everything, and it's always not 100% yield. So yield is something what is coming in versus coming out. So the ratio of that, we'll have a percentage, and it's always around 95 to 98. It's difficult to get a 99% or 100% yield on a product. It's so difficult. There's always a rework. Even if we have a 97 to 98% yield, it will still be shipped to the customer, and the customer have issues. They will send it back to us, and they have a repair. So yeah, so I'm handling those equipments in the repairs. So yeah, we still have those kinds of issues, and there's no such thing as perfect system. So there's always margin of errors. Okay, so yeah, everything will move on. What I like is Flesh and Blood is really thumbs up for these kinds of crisis, and also for those in Cartamundi. I hope you won't fire the guy that load a different bucket or a feeder, whatever they call it, in there. I hope this just be suspended or something, but don't fire him or her. So yeah, and what else? So that's what I've seen these guys. But for the player side, there's no issue with that. Well, that will be advantage of the players, but some other, of course, if just one got it and the lucky one that got the case, that has a lot of foil, rainbow foils, well, you're so lucky. So, but for the players don't care as long as they have this set of Fabled cards, something like that. They can have legendary, they can have several of those. Well, it's not an issue with players, but collectors is a little bit of an issue, because if you're a collector, you want to have like a certain limited amount of those RF foils, especially legendary and Fabled, because the price will differ when there are some overprinting. So what happened here is not that they have an error on the feeding of the normal feeding of the rainbow foil slot, but it added more on the RF. So if you add more, there will be more printing of those kinds of legendaries and Fabled, right? So yeah, so it will affect the value of that. For investors, well, or collectors and investors, well, maybe, I think, my opinion is the price of the case, not the boxes, guys. That's a single box. The case of these outsiders will be a bit expensive. It will go up in price because of, maybe they call it God case. They sometimes we say God packs, but now it's God box or God case. So the price will surely have a bit of a premium for that because of what happened, right? And it's 0.4 to 0.8. So we don't know where. I'm not sure. The Flesh and Blood did not say that they have recalled those batches, but so I assume that they just leave it spread all over the country, or whatever country it was delivered. So those are lucky ones, right? The 0.4 to 0.8. So yeah, if you have received those kinds of cases, just post your comments down below and let me know. So we will know which country you were given with a lucky case, right? So the God case, something. Okay, so guys, if you like outsiders, you go ahead to your LGSs. They're already available, and yeah, get those cases if you can. Yeah, it's a really good set. All right, so thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. This has been Trading Cards. Bye.